Hey everyone, and welcome. We are Next Level Business Advisors, and this is Business Stories of Success. If you want to break through and achieve your own business success by learning from other successful business owners, you're in the right channel. For more of our content, make sure you click subscribe and don't forget the bell icon so you're the first to be notified when new videos are added. Enjoy today's video.
Hello, hello, hello. You're with Marc Adams at Next Level Business Advisors, and today we're joined by Miss Adanna Austin, and she comes to us with an interesting company entitled Marketing Dynamics Business Solutions. I got it right.
Yes, you did.
I'm looking forward to this one because you were inspiring in our conversation. So how are you today?
I'm perfectly great today. I'm great. Can't complain.
Beautiful, beautiful. And you are coming to us from beautiful Trinidad and Tobago.
Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean. Hot, hot, hot sun.
That's what I want. I'm so jealous. It's getting cool over here. I told you before.
You could come and get some of this sun because it's ridiculous today.
I'm telling you, that's what I want so badly. But I'm digressing. This is not the Weather Channel. This is Business Stories of Success, right? So tell us about your business. Tell us a little bit about you and your business so that we can get an understanding of who we're working with today.
So I am Adanna Austin. I am a business coach and consultant, and I work with entrepreneurs to get very clear on their goals, identify their ideal clients, and develop the strategies to grow their business. I have been in business since 2011, officially as a registered business. I always have to say that. Registered in 2011. Actually, I started off doing just marketing and public relations for small to medium-sized organizations. And then in 2015, I converted to being a business coach. I still do marketing and PR for companies, but I also do business coaching as well. And I started that in 2015 and I went full-time in 2016. And here we are now in 2021.
Isn't that crazy? Right? How time flies. Like when you think about it, you said, okay, I'm going to do this. Did you realize how quickly 5 years would fly?
Not at all.
Right.
Not at all. But
they say time flies when you're having fun.
Yeah, lots of fun. And that's the most important thing.
Awesome,
lots of fun.
Awesome. I'm going to do some housekeeping first, and then I want to dig into your business journey to solopreneurship or entrepreneurship. I think it was pretty amazing when you told it to me. So, but first, someone wants to find you. How do we find you?
So many places. You can find me on Facebook. You can search for Marketing Dynamics Business Solutions, or I have an active Facebook group of over 4,000 entrepreneurs from all over the world. It's called Dynamic Business Strategists, and I do live training there every week, at least 2 to 3 times a week. You can also find me on LinkedIn as Coach Adanna Austin, and on Instagram as Coach Adanna Austin as well. So many places.
Nice. Everything said Coach Adanna, Coach. Is that what you call branding?
Yes.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Good. So now that we got that out of the way, we know how to find you. It sounds like we need to find that Facebook group too, with so many people in live training.
Strategists. That is where all the magic happens.
Love it.
And it's really, really active. It's not an advertising group. I need to always say that it's not an advertising group. It's a group where we have lively discussions about business and how we support and collaborate and stuff. So it's really a great group of people.
Nice. Now, I want to ask you one quick question, and I want to dig deeper into that one because I think you kind of touched on it already. What makes you an expert in your field?
What makes me an expert in my field is my life experience. I come from a long line of entrepreneurs. My family is really huge, and I always tell people, when I tell people, they always are shocked. It's over 200 of us.
Yeah, that's big.
Our family is huge. And many people in my family have their own business. So I grew up around entrepreneurs, right? That has always been expected. I guess. And I've worked in their businesses at different stages as well. Then I worked also in marketing, I worked in advertising, in different sectors and that kind of thing. So that has actually given me a lot of hands-on experience in being in a business, starting a business, running a business, all the behind the scenes of a business. And my family and I, we actually have 2 other businesses besides my consultancy. My mom and I run our flower shop. It's called Adanna's Flower and Gift Shop.
Oh, okay. You didn't tell me that one. Okay.
No, and then my brother, my mom, and I, we opened a car wash last year called Steamport Cleaners. So we have those 3 businesses, and we're going to open something else next year as well.
Oh my goodness. So, you've got it running through your blood and your veins everywhere. You're oozing entrepreneur.
Expected of us.
Awesome. Yeah, for a lot of us, it's in our blood. I think, I worked in corporate America for a long time, right? I worked for law firms, and I worked for Dell, and all of these, the big banks, Merrill Lynch, and all these guys. But it just wasn't the same. I'd rather have my own business, and I got that because my dad had his own business, and I used to watch the way he managed his business. He kind of did his thing. He came when he wanted to. He left when he wanted to.
Yes.
Not even when he wanted to, when he had to, but it was his decision to make. And it called me from corporate America, doing pretty well in corporate America, to saying I want to do my own. Now, I'm yammering all of that because I remember you were telling me about your story, how you left corporate America. You were in corporate island. What do you call it? Do you call it corporate America? No.
Corporate Trinidad.
So you left corporate Trinidad and you started your own business, and that was expected. But what made you take that leap to say, I'm going to do it on my own?
Well, what made me take that leap was because I was having some issues, some personal issues. I don't hide the fact that I suffer with anxiety and a little depression and stuff. And at the time in 2015, even as I converted to being a coach, I was still working in corporate. But my anxiety and my panic attacks and stuff were getting really, really out of hand. And I spent thousands of dollars going to the doctors, right? Because at that time I didn't know what it was. I was just experiencing these things. And one said to me, Adanna, you look, first of all, you're depressed. And second of all, you need to change your life. You need to change your lifestyle, because I was literally working Sunday to Sunday, as we normally do in corporate. And you need to change your life, or else, what is going to happen to you? And that's why I was in pain and that kind of thing. So, I had to make a decision. I had to make a really tough decision. And it was the best decision I've ever made in my life. And I literally remember taking time off because I had to go for emergency surgery and all of that. It was that bad. Wow. And I remember specifically taking 6 weeks off to heal. And then the Thursday before I was supposed to go back out to work, just looking at the calendar and getting a full-on panic attack, thinking I have to go back into this environment. And I'm like, no. So I called my boss immediately that night, and I was like, I resign immediately.
Wow.
Immediately.
Wow.
That was the end of that. And Monday I was just like, okay, now I'm an entrepreneur full time. Let's go.
Okay. All right. And so you had built a little something as you were going too. So that was nice. So when you finally said, I'm done, it wasn't like you were like, now what? You were like, okay, now continue on, right?
Yes.
So that's pretty,
but it was still phenomenal. A big transition. Yeah.
I can imagine. I know the transition. I've been, right? So now let me ask you this question. And this is not something that we always ask, but like just based on our conversation, how do you feel after you made that move? Because you said that a lot of your stress and anxiety was corporate America. Now, when you start your own business, it's a whole different level, but how do you feel?
I feel much better, 100% better. And I would say this, because entrepreneurship can be daunting. It is a tiring journey, but the difference is I have more control. So if I don't feel well, I can make the decision to take a rest. I can make a decision when I need to go on vacation. I can make a decision about how much I want to work today or tomorrow. I can make a decision about what days are the busiest days for me and what days are going to be quiet for me. Because right now I don't work on a Friday and I work half day on a Thursday. And I intentionally created and structured my business like that so that I have more time for me and to take care of me. So for me, I am totally happy and I'm healthier as well for taking that leap.
That's beautiful. And that's really, I remember our conversation. That's really what I wanted to get to. The fact that when you created your business, you make it work for you.
Yes.
And it's funny, you said, I don't work on Fridays. Well, neither do I, because that's the way I structured it, right?
Yes,
I got my Black Fridays. I don't work on Fridays.
No
but it's
way.
interesting, right? Because when I'm talking to entrepreneurs, oftentimes I tell them two things. I say, it's really hard. I say, but when you do it right, it's beautiful. When you do it right. And the other thing is you make it happen, right? You choose how much you want to work or how little you want to work. You choose what kind of work you do and what you don't want to do, and it makes you happy. So there are challenges, but boy, if you can get it right.
Once you get it right. And
it's
a lot of it is creating boundaries, huh?
Yes.
Boundaries
absolutely.
for your clients, boundaries for yourself.
Absolutely.
Once you create those boundaries, those healthy boundaries, because we all know as an entrepreneur, you have to do the work, right, to get what you want, but you still have to think about your mental health. You still have to think about those boundaries. And I always tell my clients, like, why are you answering emails at 11 o'clock at night? You're setting up yourself for failure, amazing. Because your audience is going to feel that that's okay. So my clients know after 8 o'clock, they're not going to hear anything from me, right? It's a
absolutely.
wrap. You're not going to hear me Friday
that's one of the biggest
Saturday.
things that you got to not train, but like coaching, right? We're both in the same kind of area. It's that mindset of, no, you can make boundaries. You can set parameters and stay in business.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
No, you don't have to answer the email at 11 o'clock. The client is not going to expect it of you unless that's what you tell them to expect.
Exactly.
Right?
And once you do that once, you set it up.
Yeah. You'll never get your Friday off.
Exactly. And I really believe that while, yes, you have to work hard as an entrepreneur, I don't believe that you need to work Sunday to Sunday. I don't believe you need to burn the candle at both ends. I believe that if you develop a strategy and you are very structured and intentional, you can get a lot done, a lot accomplished. Because many times people do busy work. You're doing a lot of busy work, but you're not doing profitable work.
Yes, absolutely.
And we get tied up with that, right? We're busy, but there's nothing to show at the end of it. You just had a really busy day.
You hit it right on the head. It's almost like, okay, well, I'm here. And sometimes that even happens with us. I know it does with me. I'll come into the office bright and early, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm here. Well, let me straighten up this desk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Busy work.
Yeah. Let me wipe the screens down. Meanwhile, I have pressing work, right? But I'll get to that in an hour or two. But you're right. Structure and once we figure those things out, boy, we can make an amazing business for ourselves, a successful business, right?
Of course.
And so it sounds like you have a successful business. How do you define success?
Success for me, besides the money, because I know people automatically think is about how much money you make, right?
Gotta eat,
and
right?
You have to eat, you have bills to pay, and that's really important. But for me, success to me is being able to chart my own course, being able to work when I want, being able to focus on what businesses I want to focus on, being able to travel the world, because I'm a big traveler. This is the first year in 15 years that I have not left the country.
Wow.
It's huge for me. That's not going to happen next year, but definitely not going to happen. But that is what success looks like for me, being able to work from wherever I want to work from, whichever country I want to work from. The ability to grow and, help others without feeling that I'm stuck in this one place, in this one situation. That's what success looks like for me. Once I'm traveling, once I'm doing that, once I could log off, I'm like, I had a successful day, right? Success to me doesn't mean working till 12 o'clock any night. That's not success for me at all.
I completely agree with you. I mean, you hit it right on. We almost kindred souls, because that's exactly how I am. Like, I feel like success is managing the business the way that I want to manage it, not having to work with clients I don't want to work with. That was a big one, right? Because certain people you have this synergy with, and then certain people you clash. And when you're desperate, you just, I'll just deal with the headache. But no. So it's interesting. Success means a lot of different things to different people. I've been doing this podcast for a long period of time now. Very few of them say money, but very many of them have different reasons for success. It's very interesting to find out what a person feels successful. So now and you've talked about it a little bit, but if you don't mind, how have you made your business successful? How do you continue to make it successful?
Well, one of the big things that I did to make my business and to chart the course that I wanted was to get help, right? So I have 2 virtual assistants and a personal assistant, and they took away a lot of the busy work. Right. They took away a lot of the busy work so that I can focus on the income generating aspects of my business.
Beautiful.
So yeah, my clients are always like, Adanna, how come I'm in a meeting with you and I'm seeing an email from you? Or how come I'm seeing this and I'm seeing that, and I'm seeing your podcast coming up, I'm seeing your blog coming up. I'm like, yeah, because I have people to do those things. I don't want to have to spend time doing those things. So I hired help, and specific types of help to support me. I have a VA who works specifically with my business, and I have a VA who works specifically with my clients as lovely. Well. Yeah, and then I have a personal assistant who does all of my running around, because again, I don't want to spend time on the road paying bills and paying that and organizing appointments. That's no, that is not for me. So once I was able to find that comfort zone of how each one of them was going to support me, I've realized I became more successful because I was less stressed out. I was able to rest. I was able to go to lunch with my mom, go to lunch with my girlfriends, go to the beach, travel, and know that things are still happening. Money is still coming in. I'm not cutting off communication with my audience. So that is why I've been able to reach this level of success. I added help. Because you cannot do this alone. You really cannot do this alone.
I love it. Yeah, I have this saying that I came up with all by myself. I was so proud of it. The entrepreneur walks alone, because a lot of them do. They walk alone.
Yes.
And you will never, ever, well, I'm not going to say that because we can't ever be definitive. It's very hard to find exactly what you're looking for when you're by yourself.
Right?
Right. But when you get help, when you get the strategic team in place, like you said, it frees you up. It's a beautiful thing. I like that you shared that with us. And I think that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs can benefit from. Overcome the fear of having to pay somebody to help you. In the end, if they're helping you, it's worth every penny.
And whatever they're doing is bringing in income.
I was about to say, it's going to generate money. It's going to make it.
It's generating income. So it's not like they're just doing idle work either, and that's why when you're hiring somebody, you need to be very, very specific about what they are going to do and how they are going to be bringing in income into your business so that you can pay them and it's not a hassle.
That's right. You're right. It's an investment, not an expense, but it's only that way when you pick the right person to do the right thing.
Yeah. Right. Strategy and intention.
I love it. So you've made all these wise business moves. It sounds like as you're running your show. What's one big mistake you made in your journey that you care to share?
Not setting boundaries early enough.
Okay.
That's why it's such a big thing for me now, because when you now start, if you just want to please everybody, right? Most entrepreneurs start like that. I want to please everybody. I don't want to say no and that kind of thing. But it meant that I kept getting burnt out. Like every 6 weeks, I was on a cycle of, okay, I'm burnt out. I need to take a week off. I take the week off. I go back and I start the cycle. And I had to stop and say, okay, you're going to end back up exactly where you started off, meaning with my anxiety and stuff. There's why you stopped your corporate job. So I had to stop and figure out what was it that I was doing that was not working in my best interest. And I realized it was the boundaries. Why am I answering emails? Why am I taking calls this hour? Why am I doing this thing? No, I need 2 days off. I need like full days off. I'm not online. I'm not answering emails. I'm not taking calls. I needed that. And I think that most entrepreneurs have to figure that out for themselves. But for me, my biggest thing was I had to learn to create those boundaries so that I could create the life and the business that I wanted.
I love it. I love it. And
Mhm.
that makes such a difference, as you can tell. Like you would have been stressed out, but as an entrepreneur instead of stressed out as a corporate employee.
Yeah.
And so
And because,
you know,
and not only that, because I have my other two businesses as well. So you need to have this boundary.
you
So
need to
Friday,
recharge.
while I don't do my consultancy on Friday, what I may do is focus on my car wash and getting
Gotcha.
stuff up and running, because our car wash is busy Saturday and Sunday. So Friday might just
Right.
be to make sure that everything is smooth for our rush Saturday and Sunday. But
Love it.
that as well is just going to take up 2 hours, and then that's it.
And
I'm
that's it.
done.
Yeah. I like it. I like it. I like it. I'm going to have to
Yeah.
figure out a second business to start. No, you know what? I like being the way it is right now.
No, don't do it if you don't want to. I love
Oh,
doing
no.
it, but I
That's
don't
the
recommend
difference,
it
right?
for
Yes. It's the
everybody.
passion. It's the passion, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't
Awesome.
recommend
Awesome.
that for everybody.
Awesome. Awesome. So let me ask you another question based on that mistake. So you learned from that mistake. Do you think there was anything you could have done to avoid that mistake?
I think that if I did more mindset work at the beginning of my journey, because like most entrepreneurs, we start off and we doubt ourselves. There's a lot of self-doubt. There's a lot of what ifs. There's a lot of, so what if I don't answer them? They will go and find somebody else. No, I need to do this thing now because, I need to get it done now. I had a lot of that at the beginning. And I think that if I understood the importance of creating a success mindset and a positive mindset and abundance mindset, I would have avoided a lot of those things, because I would not have doubted myself. I have the experience. Why am I doubting myself? I have the experience. I have the knowledge. I have the know-how. I don't need to be desperate to attract my clients. And I deliver. I always deliver. So, but that was because my mindset wasn't where it was supposed to be. Right. And once I understood that and started to make mindset work a daily part of my intentions, then it became easier for me to set those boundaries.
Love it. Love it. So if you want to find some levels of success, avoid the mistake of not working on the mind first, right?
Yeah.
Avoid
Yeah.
that mistake.
Because I
It's
always
funny.
tell people, you can have all the tools. If your mindset is messed up, you're not going to move.
Yeah.
You're just going to watch those tools and be like, okay, but you're still doubting yourself and stuff. So you're not going to move.
It always starts with the mind, and the stronger the mind, the better the work. It's just the way it is, right?
Yes,
The stronger the
definitely.
mind, the better the work. I love it. Here's my next question to you. What do you think is the single most important quality needed to be a successful owner?
A single most important quality, I think you have to be open. When I say open, I mean you have to be flexible. You have to be flexible. I think a lot of us come into business thinking that we have to check off these boxes.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You have to check off this box, this. And even when you go and do these coaching programs and you do all of these you listen to all these YouTube channels, make sure you have X, Y, Z, da. And the truth is that may not be your journey. That may not be how your journey looks, right? So be flexible, be open to not doing it like everybody else, right? And chart your own course the way that makes you feel comfortable, not because you saw somebody else in your field do it this way. It means that is the way. You have to kind of figure out what makes sense for you and then follow that. But that also comes with you having a really strong intuition, right? And understanding of yourself. And again, it goes back to your mindset, because you're going to start to doubt yourself if you don't trust yourself.
Yeah.
So you have to trust yourself.
Yeah, that mindset is all. It's everything. It's
everything.
everything. And it's interesting because when you become an entrepreneur, to me, or you make that decision, you already have a specific kind of mindset. Because most
Yes.
people, many people are like, I'll take that steady paycheck. So you already started,
Yes.
you're starting out with this at least a little bit of ability to take risk. Now it's like, okay, how do I make this good? I like that. Be flexible. And now, okay, now I've done it. I've taken this leap into the entrepreneurial waters. Yeah, you might want to be flexible so that you don't drown.
Exactly. That is
Right.
exactly it. That is
Yeah.
exactly it. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Because
I
I
like
remember
it.
when I first started off with my first coach, he unfortunately wanted me to tick off his boxes. And I'm like, no, I'm not doing that. And he's like, no, but it's what you have to do. I'm like, no, that's not what I have to do. And that's not what I'm going to do. Because it wasn't in alignment with my personality. It wasn't what he thinks that he wanted me to do. I'm like, that's not how I speak. That's not how I show up. And it's going to stress me out to do it like that. So I need to show up as me and do this the Adanna way.
Okay, the Adanna way.
Yeah, I need to figure out the Adanna way. And I did that. And I mean, I'm here.
The difference it makes. Now you just said something, and I want to go into that a little bit. You said you had a coach, and he gave you, clearly it wasn't good advice. You're a coach. I'm a coach, right? How do you give good advice? How do you get good advice for your employee, not your employees, your
My clients.
coaching clients?
Well, each client is different, as you know, right? So that's why I always say it's not a one size fits all. It's really about us having those conversations and, building that relationship to figure out what would make sense. So for some of my clients, I know because we've built this relationship, I know what their strengths and weaknesses are. So what I might say to one is not necessarily what I might say to the other, even if they're in the same type of business. And especially because their goals might be different, their resources might be different. So we have to take all of those things into consideration. And as I always tell people, as your coach, I'm giving you suggestions. These are suggestions, right? It's up to you to decide if this will work. Because if a client tells me, just as I told my coach that this is not going to work, I don't push back. I'm like, why do you think it doesn't work? We have a discussion around it. Sometimes they try it and then they're like, oh my gosh, Adanna, it really, really worked, right? But I'm here to suggest stuff to you. At the end of the day, it is your business and it is up to you to do the work to get to where you want to go. I could just give you advice based on my experience and what I know has worked, but it's definitely not a one size fits all.
I love it. I love it. It sounds like you're a good coach because, it's so important. And you're right. Certain coaches are like this, it's my way or the highway.
Or the highway. No.
Right. But really, we're coaching not businesses, but business owners. So we're talking about people, and each individual is unique. And so a good coach has to understand the person. Right. And that's why you also have to vibe it, because you're right. It's like, I'm trying to give you advice from my life experience, my business experience, but based on what I think you can take for value. And if you don't see the value in it, then maybe I need to change the way I'm coming at it.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
So if you mentioned being flexible to be a successful business owner, we also have to be successful to be business coaches. That's what I really feel. Flexibility is key. Right.
Very much. Very much.
Yeah.
And I tell people that because I can't assume because something works for me, it works for you, because my resources are different from your resources. Now, if I have a VA, I have two VAs. You don't have this. So it may be a lot more taxing for you to do certain things than for me. So you have to take all of those things into consideration when you are coaching somebody. Definitely.
Yeah. Even the buy-in, right? If I firmly believe this is going to work, then I'm going to go at it with the mindset of this is going to work. If you doubt it, your mindset might make it fail just before you start, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. I shoot pool. That's my hobby. I love shooting pool. And years ago, one of my friends who was really, really good, he's almost like a father figure to me. Really, he took me out when I was a kid, and he was like, the first thing you got to do in order to shoot pool well is believe you can make the shot. And it's so funny because when I'm shooting pool and I'm in my flow, I'm just Boop, 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 boop. Then I get to like kind of hard one and I'm like, oh, I don't know. And guess what happens? Every time.
Every
I
time.
missed that shot. I'm like, I missed it, and I've been missing it by like that much. It'd be like a
Every
quarter of a millimeter
time.
every time. If you don't believe it, it won't happen. So
Yeah.
all of that comes into play, right?
Exactly.
So it's
Everything
funny,
is about
but
mindset.
everything's about mindset.
Is about mindset.
Yeah.
Everything is
You
about
used a
mindset.
phrase about mindset, and I'm digressing. I hope you don't mind.
No problem. No problem.
But you use a phrase, and I've been in this game for almost 20 years now. And I don't think I had heard this phrase until maybe 3 or 4 years ago, the mindset of abundance. When I learned that mindset, the mindset of abundance, things changed for me in a profound way. You care to talk about that a little bit? Like, what is the mindset of abundance?
The mindset of abundance for me is just that belief that anything that I want, I will receive. Anything that I want, I will receive. Whether I receive it today, tomorrow, next week, or next year, I know that I am going to receive it. And the thing is with mindset work, I always tell people, don't go into it expecting that you're going to receive everything as you decide to switch your mindset, because that's not how it works, right? And that's why it's a daily practice. It's a daily practice. But for me, that abundance is knowing and believing that everything I've asked for, I am receiving in some way, shape, or form at the right time for me, because timing is important, at the right time, and that I'm abundantly receiving. I'm always abundantly receiving. And the other thing is that abundance is not always about money.
No,
it's
correct.
not always about money. I am abundantly receiving opportunities. I'm abundantly receiving my ideal clients. I'm abundantly receiving the opportunity to rest.
Yes,
and
I love it.
No.
I love it. Yes,
right?
yes.
So it's about that belief. It's really about that belief that anything that I desire, I deserve.
Yeah.
And I would always receive it. I always, my mom and they always laugh at me. They're like, when they come to me with an issue with the shops or whatever, I'm like, okay, so what is the solution? And they're like, so you don't want to talk more about it? I'm like, no, what's our solution? What do we want? Let's talk about what we want. Let's talk about how we're going to get it, and let's move forward. Because,
what a difference.
Yeah, because to me, like, I'm not going to wallow in, okay, this didn't work out. We don't have this. Okay, fine. There's always a solution. Let's focus on the solution. And I believe in focusing on the solution. That's part of my abundance. Because
I agree with you.
I'm going to move forward and get it done.
Absolutely.
So yeah, it's deep.
It is deep. It is deep. And I tell you, it changed a lot for me. And yeah, it's a lot of that. It's problems are problems. That's absolutely. But there's always an answer. Now, we might not have found the answer, but there's an answer. So guess what I'm going to do? I'm going to search for the answer. Right? I'm going to, I don't believe in, oh, well, in my industry, you can't do it this way. Why not? Yeah, and that's what one of my coaches mentioned to me. One of my coaches said, everything that you say can't happen, we're trained in that matter. If you have, you try it maybe one time and you fail, so see, it can't happen. But if it happens for one person one time, then guess what? It can happen again. That's that abundance. I love that mindset. It really did change the way I went about certain things in my business, big things in my business. And it released a lot of fears that stopped me from moving forward. In fact, I need to always keep that in mind, because fear will hold you back. Yeah.
Fear will definitely hold you back. And one piece of failure holds you back. So I always tell people, because I have things that don't work out. I have things that flop. But the difference in me, I have learned that if something doesn't work out, that's actually a blessing. It wasn't supposed to be for me right now. This maybe wasn't my timing. That person maybe was not the right person for me to work with. So instead of like beating up myself about it, I'm like, okay, what do I learn from this? So that I don't make the same mistake. I always make a joke with one of my clients. It's one of my high ticket clients. Whenever something flops to him, I always tell him, I say, you have 15 minutes. 15 minutes to vent. Let's vent for 15 minutes. After that, I don't want to hear about the problem again. I just want to hear about the solution.
Done deal. Correct.
What did we learn and what we're going to do next?
I love it.
15 minutes. That's it. I don't want to hear about that 2 weeks, 2 weeks down the road.
That's it.
Get it off your chest.
We move past that, right? It's like you're a traveler. It's like flying in an airplane, right? Once you take off, you look back the runway. After 15 minutes, there's no runway.
There's no runway.
That's in the past. That's way back there.
And you're allowed to feel how you need to feel. You're allowed to feel upset. You're allowed to feel irritated. That's fine because we're human. But let's move forward. How are we moving forward from this, right? And that's what I want to focus on. And that is part of your abundance.
I love it. I love it. I'm going to ask you one final question because I know we digressed a lot and I know you have a tight schedule and I can talk to you for like 2 hours. It's probably.
Well, I put a whole hour open for you. So we're good.
Awesome. Awesome. What advice would you give to a brand new business owner?
What advice? I would tell a brand new business owner to a few things actually. Besides doing some mindset work, I would tell them to continue investing in themselves. Continue to, because that personal development, again, is not something that stops. You have to continuously develop in yourself, invest in your education, because things are changing so quickly in all of these industries. Continue to invest in your education and just do it. Don't wait for it to be perfect. Don't wait for the perfect website, the perfect email list, the perfect Facebook page, the perfect video.
Oh,
just
goodness gracious. Yes, yes, I agree.
Do it and improve as you go. Just do it. And a lot of people stop their blessing because they are waiting for me to make everything perfect. And that's going to keep you back.
Yeah, you're right.
You're
right. Yeah, you're absolutely right. There is an expression about perfection. I forgot what it is, but when people wait for that perfection, they never get going. It is so true. It's like learning how to swim, and I'm not a good swimmer, right? But you can read the book, you can watch the video, you can work on your technique, you can do all of that. But until you actually get in the water and have your feet get off the bottom of the pool, or you're not swimming, baby. You're not swimming.
Yeah.
You know.
Just
my mother, who cannot swim at all, my mom can't swim at all. She used to always say, at some point, you got to jump in the water, baby.
Yeah, no, she's right. Yeah. And I tell people, when I registered my business in 2011 and decided I'm going to start charging people because I was doing it free, I got my first 4 clients in a month. First of all, I had no website. I had no business cards. I just started a Facebook page. So it was crap, because the logo was done in word art. So it was a whole mess. I wasn't even in the country. I was actually in Canada at the time when I registered my business. And I'm like, you know what? I need some clients. And I just started to reach out to people. I put together a quick proposal about myself and my experience. And within a month, I came back home after a month. I had 4 clients. I mean, imagine if I waited to make sure my website was up and I had my logo. I didn't have my logo until 6 months after, but I had clients.
Yeah, exactly. I love that. And I hope that I have one client that I work with that she listens to that last statement, because everything is about my website. No, you don't need a website. It's you. It's you. It's what you bring to the table. So I love it. I love it. All right. So I got time for one more question. All right. If you can go right back before you started your business, what advice would you give yourself?
I would say I would have started my coaching business earlier, in the sense that I would have left my corporate job earlier. Right. And again, it went back to my mindset, that fear of if I'm not working a corporate job, like how am I going to get this money to pay my bills and that kind of thing? And I really had nothing to worry about because I'm Adanna. I always tell people I'm Adanna, so I could figure that out.
All right.
Don't worry about that, right?
All right now.
Yeah, but I would say just trust in myself a lot more. Trust in myself, trust my intuition, believe that I could do it, and just jump into it. And do it. Yeah. Just jump into it.
I love it. Yeah. I love it. And so if you're listening to this and you're on the fence, you're not Adanna.
Just do it.
But just jump into it. Right. Just do it.
Just do it. My grandmother used to say to me, My grandmother always, and I get that from my grandmother, right? She always used to say to me, but you're Adanna, you can do anything. And I'm like,
All right now.
really? You're Adanna, you can do anything. So now I always like, well, I'm Adanna. So I got
Just
it.
do it. I love it. I love it.
I can do it.
I love it. This has been really, really cool. And you
Really
gave us some
fun.
nice gems. Thank you so much for
You're
giving us some of your
welcome.
time today. And we look forward to continuing to see your journey to success.
Lovely. I'm glad to have the opportunity to share my journey with you. It was a
Oh,
pleasure.
thank you. We enjoyed it.